Okay, so I want to open up a can of whoop ass on trigonometry. Make your parents do it. But you're gonna keep the volume off. I haven't even heard it. I don't know. Let's see.
Your
English? Yeah, English.
angles.
Okay. Well, never mind. Anyways,
And the
we're not bothering with that. Anyways, we're just gonna take the opening lecture thesis here as he's getting through it. Oh, I can't fast forward. Bitch. Nope. Too far. Too far. Yes. Okay. Go. Play. No. Play. Okay. So, these are angles. Why you need them for things, who knows? But these are what they are. Um, this is probably one of the first diagrams I would actually say, yeah, trigonometry. This thing right here, as far as, well, which version of Hoodoo Voodoo you looking at here? The Umbrella Corporation or the church or other things? Maybe from us. Yeah, it's an older kid's joke. You gotta be. Anyways, we'll get to this. Great, sure, need them. Don't know how it applies to this math problem just yet, but we're gonna find out. And I've gotten the privilege to look through a little bit of this, so I know where this is going. Okay, honey, I need trigonometry for beginners to figure out some period of what? I don't know. You don't know what that is. You don't know what any of that is. Yeah, you know what actually that is? That is the sun and the earth around it. Look at Umbrella Corp Zombie Corporation around here. Asshole. This is the kind of stuff to teach your kid. They'll never need this. I was thinking machines, like how do I get a. Does the choo choo train do that? No, no, not in the regular PRT unless you're trying to abuse children. In that way, it's just a roundabout, and then to get to mean Greenwich time about trains from A to B and going north and south on the map about, again, Jupiter's position around the sun, where it's going to be tomorrow. Well, better show up to the beaten tree means. After this thing, we'll look at it. Photon, gluon, W boson, Z boson, poor bunny blood everywhere. At any rate, the kids don't care about what it is. I don't want the kids touching equipment they're not rated for. Why do I want them messing around with the orbits of planets or electrons? No! No. You figure out a way to make this work in an auto parts manual, the area of probability that Ford needs a part. You got it. So all this. Okay. Okay. I'm figuring out the period on some some math problem I haven't minesweepered yet. You know, I picked up like the piece of metal I am as Terminator going at it with John Connor. Think you're human. Anyways, great. I get that this is rotation, and what I know is gonna happen next is he's gonna fall short. He doesn't draw this picture, and it hurts my brain when he doesn't do it. It's like, okay, so these are those periods, and now I can figure out that angle. Is it this angle? I know this angle. These are big angles. Are these like the periods on throw? We cutting down to where the, again, Mercury's part of this equation now, because back in the day finding Neptune or the mathematics about the orbitals of the planet did some things. And again, orbitals, electron shells too, again, because you're hunting some bunny in here. I don't know why it's jumping around in the pipes like that, but you better get a handle on that and pack a load a little better. And then they're doing again. Okay, you're going the other way with it. Again, am I looking at the angles of the periods of a little bit of fuzzy some rooms I'm supposed to fix with trigonometry now that I know how to steal all the people's wallets and watches inside of here? Because no reason for them to tell time if I can get them like this. Honestly. We'll just move along. So again, we'll get to that. Again, he doesn't necessarily. He does that again, and then he comes down here and he does this. Alright. And so, okay. Trigonometry, back on this horse. I don't know where we left off on the planets there, or the orbitals of the nucleus of hydrogen and tritium, but we're going to power through. Let her dance out, but I want to pop up my math book here. I'm working on the kids ASVAB. I've separated out some of this stuff from it because you don't really need it as far as tripping up kids where you're going to put them in the MOS. Again, if you can answer this question, I might throw one of them in it just because, like, well, that's fantastic. You're going to be a pain in the ass later, honestly. But, okay, so where we need to get to, here we go. Salty Rabbits do some more algebra and arithmetic here. Here we just arithmetic problems I stole off of Google, some simple write-outs. And you're not realizing that you're kind of doing that right here a little bit to figure out some of this other stuff real different. We get to the ASVAB here, and again, we want to simplify. We want to make this real simple. Measurements, draw out an inch. It's got 7/8 or 5 of them. It's 1 inch and broken down to 5 in parts. 2 of them, line them all out, make balls, wheels, whatever you got to do. Obviously, this one's the largest out of them because you kind of got to lay it out there. You're working them down. You're going to do all those tests, different combinations. A real slip model of doing it, you wind up kind of needing this one. But you'll be doing, we'll be using square root very differently. The square root of -49. We'll find our own versions of why that is what it is, because that's really why you need it. Not necessarily that there's a very fixed piece of equipment where I had to know 6 times 3.145 and all of this nonsense. It's pretty complicated for doing a bunch of fluffery when the brute force work of bricks here, of multimetricsing this stuff. Remember, change out spend a whole day just on different variances of this equation, make the test this version of it. These are kind of, again, some of those arithmetic bases and geometry bases for you to change those equations into before we get into something like trigonometry or calculus. So you can change out all these. Here's all the work. You'll want to do those. I kind of simplified it. As you're doing these out, you'll understand why these versions of the PRT aren't that complicated. And they're actually very simple because, remember, this is the 50-foot rectifier and a 77-foot or a 70-foot field rectifier from the major leagues, right? Because, isn't it? There's some home runs as far as standard rookie killers on what the fastball is, the balk, and some other rules of this game on the ASVAB, or backing down some of those questions so that it isn't just time that gets you into certain things or a class or a system. Now we can restart over. Not only with a base method, but this for our base method, in which case you could change out. Again, when we get to some other versions of the physics, jumping bones over the area of the curve, and some of those other drawings in the baseballs and the FMAs necessary to Bernoulli's out, some of that work, you'll get to the point where you're doing some of those things that look like trigonometry. A lot of the same principles. Coulombs, Curies, Newtons, obviously, as far as FMAs. Salty sleeps with olives, right? Or north, as far as shine down on those boots. Got the tent out for the map and just laying out there in the field, I suppose. But again, that's going to be that distance of trains running around and what might be going on in there as far as plowing through Skull Mountain here and out his ear, into the hydrogen out to the port, the waves, the rolling hills, the things to the north as far as, you do. It's a circus and a cemetery and a little town over here, I guess, and this thing, I don't know, a cat house probably. I understand why they're going, well, it must be the cat house. 70s, the castle over here. So given this angle of the area on the slope, that's more relative to why you can use crypto. And again, as we go back to some of that basic algebra, that was real basic stuff. If we go back to the code there, the Monty Poly substitution cipher with into the breach once more, prime functions of being able to do that calculation and separate out the grammatics. Again, here you could talk about some fuzz. I got a few pictures that you can do it with in other books, where I'm talking about that Hubble's 45 constant. And there's O-type stars, different colors and ranges, and you can kind of, overall, is their total matrix, all the parts, all the, whatever. Um, all the planets, all the other things. That is a great way to use trigonometry. You remember that trigonometry is something that they teach the kids in school. Yeah, it's not something that you need heavy CDL or classification for, as far as how that equation can be paralleled into certain other coins. Okay, so that was my point. I'll catch you on the next one.